If you haven't heard by now, I definitely didn't hear till my brother sent me a link. Country singer Morgan Wallen said the N word and lost a bunch of sponsors. Or radio play or something like that. I couldn't be bothered to look into it. Something else you'll hear me say a lot, which I failed to mention in my last video. And I couldn't be bothered to look into it because that's not the main point of today's video. Once again, I'm talking about the waterheads that use all three of their brain cells to comment on these sort of things. Let's take a look, shall we? Since I don't want anyone doxxed, all names and faces are poorly censored. Hey, I said before you consume this for free. He was drunk, didn't use the hard R, and was only talking to his buddies. Yeah, because all of a sudden what happens in private is no longer of a concern to people like you. I could have sworn things like this weren't okay under any circumstances. Am I unclear on the rules? The person who made this comment is anti-Trump, anti-Republican, and loves social justice and BLM more than life itself. Wonder how she thinks the black community would feel knowing a white person is trying to give another white person an N-word pass. Can we talk about what his neighbor did was illegal? We could, but that's not up my alley. I will say that I'm not okay with people being recorded without their knowledge. Maybe he did know, I don't care. However, I guarantee this woman that if he was recorded saying how much he loves to rape women, she wouldn't be complaining. Of course she wouldn't. Self-interest. Now, I get it. Usually the people that are trying to cancel people over racial things are white people, leading me to say, you can't be more offended than the people that were target of the fence. If you support black people in BLM, then support them and let them fight their own battles. MLK didn't need a white stand-in to give his speech. It also leads me to ask people like this, what are you trying to hide? What sin are you trying to conceal and compensate for? Because you're undoing everything you've been saying and doing when you try to tell black people it's no big deal. On to the next one. I usually don't make any posts about these kinds of things. Sure you don't. But it's bugging the absolute shit out of me. I'm not going to read all of this. You can go for it if you want to. But he goes on to say something I slightly agree with. It never made sense to me why a word, which is just noise when you break it down, is hurtful when one person says it, but not when another person says it. That would be like me making up a word, telling you it would hurt my feelings if you said it, but then I go on to say it all day, every day. I'm not going to go the cliche route by saying slavery has ended a long time ago and that you and no one you know were enslaved, because that completely ignores all the segregation that happened not that long ago and the blatant racism we still see today. What I will say is that as far as black people have come, you can't let yourself be that weak, especially in today's time, to let noise bother you. You're better than that. The next guy asks us, y'all mad at Morgan Wallen, but let your daughters listen to WAP? Who the fuck are you even talking about, Dale Bob? Did you make up a scenario in your head? Get offended in advance? Are you seriously comparing dumb sluts liking a dumb slut anthem to racism? Can I buy some meth off of you when you pull out of your cousin? If you don't like Morgan Wallen, just unfriend me. Ah, shit. What a loss. But on to the main point. Did SJWs finally find their line? I've said before that people see things too black and white, too left and right. I've said before to see the gray right down the middle. It's not flip-flopping, it's thinking for yourself. Now, that's not always a good thing, especially if you're lacking in cognitive faculties, but cancel culture seemed like a great idea till it showed up at your doorstep, didn't it? Now, here comes the excuses. Now here comes the gray area. Now here comes there's a nuance to these things. Gotta love the inconsistency with you people. Does he deserve all this happening? Probably not. But he doesn't need your support or your help either. I promise you, he'll be just fine. For God's sakes, you self-absorbed white liberals already had to take the face of the BLM movement and make it about yourself. You gonna do that here too?